Surprise, surprise! It's a Tuesday night. We're back again. Episode number 23 of Stats Over Politics. As always, I'm Shaun alongside my guy, Garry Singh. Jaevon Toddy will be joining us shortly. Kevin Dent is dealing with some personal stuff today, so he will not be joining us, but we know that he's probably tuning in. So shout out to Kevin, and I hope everything goes well for him with everything that's going on. Anyways, so Garry, it's another week. We are back again. I see you rocking the Sacramento Kings shirt, and it is good to be a Sacramento Kings fan.
I don't know. I had a little mixed feelings wearing this shirt because one of my friends reminded me when I had the shirt because someone else was wearing it too. I was seeing at the gym. They're like, "Why are you wearing that shirt?" And I'm like, "They're like because the night where they put the shirts out and we didn't clinch." I'm like, you know what? It's still a nice shirt though.
Do you consider it a bad luck shirt now?
He kind of made me think about that, and I was like, "Is it?" And I'm like, "Nah, it's too nice to make it bad luck. I like it too much, so I don't care."
Yeah, that's a good point. And like I was saying, the Kings clinched the Pacific Division tonight. Actually, I don't think I said that yet. The Kings have clinched the Pacific Division for the first time in a long time as they clinched tonight officially. We're coming to you at about 8 o'clock tonight on a Tuesday night. We wanted to wait a day for the national championship to be played out last night so we would be able to talk about the men's and women's finals as UConn and LSU were crowned as the respective champions. And we come to you today around 8 o'clock because, Garry, unlike last week when the Kings were playing the Timberwolves on that Monday night game that you attended, I feel like I had to wait for this one because last week we started the podcast right at 7 and we were like, tonight could be the night they clinch a playoff spot.
Yeah.
And then they ended up not doing it. And I didn't want to be the guy to jinx it. But I said at the end of last week's podcast, I was like, by the time we speak to you all next week, the Kings will be playoff bound. And I'm glad to say, Garry, 8 days later, they are officially playoff bound. Mm-hmm. So let's just talk about, before we get to them clinching the Pacific Division, let's get back to last Wednesday night. Where were you at? What were the emotions like when the Kings clinched their first playoff spot since 2006?
Last Wednesday night, I was watching the game and on my phone. I think I was at the gym, to be honest with you. Who knows? You know me. Who knows where I was? But all I remember is, okay, this is the weird thing about this, Shaun. Being clinched. I don't know. In the beginning of the year, if you would have told me that we would have clinched the 3rd seed or like the top 3 seed before like the week was over, I was like, no way. You know, probably would have been top 6. That's what we thought. I think we top 6 floating around. We're like the Lakers and the Warriors are all right now. And I thought we'd be right there. But since I feel like it's been kind of, I guess to say, foregone conclusion from me a while, it's like it never hit me. I'm like, it feels like we're already there. I feel like it would have been cool if we obviously would have clinched at home. Would have been a throw a party and stuff like that. But like De'Aaron Fox said, it don't matter where we would have clinched. You would have clinched in another country. We would have been happy. So the Kings of the playoffs. We're about to get this. We're going to get it popping in Sacramento. But Shaun, I have a quick question for you, real quick.
Go ahead.
All right, I'm probably jumping the gun, but I haven't been here for a few weeks. I'm ready to fire on all cylinders right now. For the Kings, do you think the Kings should we already be happy that they made the playoffs, Shaun, or should we want now change expectations for them to make the second round? Because I had this conversation with OG in the sauna today earlier, and he was like, do you kind of change the expectations, or are we going to keep it, it's all butter on the cake now?
Well, first of all, before I answer that question, what's up with your sauna sessions with seniors?
I don't know. The lie, yesterday I talked to 2 old guys in the sauna. They always be talking to me. Be cool conversations, man. They're telling you golden nuggets. Shaun, need to do that more often. Take the headphones off.
The steam room. All right. Garry be up. Okay, I'm sorry. Garry be up in the sauna, not the steam room, the sauna. But anyways, to answer your question, I would probably say hell yeah. Like you were just saying, the Kings coming into this season. Nice Kings water bottle, by the way. I saw that. That's nice. But coming into this season, like you were saying, we were just hoping that the Kings would even, like, bare minimum, get a play-in spot. And we thought, like, we were making all those jokes, like Kings fans were going to be like Patrick Beverley with the Wolves when he jumped on the table just for us getting into the play-in. And then if you had told me that the Kings would get a top 6 seed, I thought that was, like, far and away the peak. And then if you told me, the Kings clinch a playoff spot in a top 6 seed a week before the season or a week and a half before the season ends, I'd say, okay, that's the best. But for the Kings to clinch their first Pacific Division crown in 2 decades. Man, I am far and away so overwhelmed and satisfied and beyond happy with this season that has been for the Sacramento Kings. Obviously, now because of what we have seen, they have raised that bar. They have raised our expectations. And now we want to see them, and we expect to see them win a first-round series. That's what we expect out of top 4 seeds, to hold it down on their home
That's
court.
What we're expecting.
That's what we're expecting.
Everyone else is what they're aiming for. They're all aiming for a Shaun. But like you said that perfectly. I think preseason-wise, if we had looked at the expectations, I think making the playoffs would obviously Vaughn in the building. What's up, Vaughn? Said, well, going back to my point, I feel like preseason, yeah, us making obviously would have been great. This is now should be considered icing on the cake. But obviously, I think just the tone around the team, as everyone's been hearing, we're not talking like that. Coaches are not talking like that. Players are not talking like that. Like, obviously 16 drought has to pertain with the franchise, but, you hear repeatedly that the players themselves obviously play a role in that. But, they weren't here all 16 years. Us fans were, the city was. You see me? You feel me? So I feel like in their eyes, it's actually like, yeah, it's probably good what they did so far, but I'm assuming so. The way Mike Brown coaches and how he's won multiple championships, and that's what he's all aiming for his own team. I feel like you said, Shaun, I think expectations should be a little adjusted now due to how good they did this season.
Now welcoming in the third member of our crew and the outsider's perspective to this very Homer podcast of Gary, Kevin, and myself being Kings fans. The Celtics fan, our guy, Mr. Jaevon. Toddy, first of all, Toddy, how are we doing this week, bro?
We lost today. We lost to the Sixers. We're
with Embiid with a 50 ball.
Yeah, that didn't help.
Yeah. Real quick before we go, Shaun, I want everyone to know real quick, just give my guy Shaun a little bit of leeway. He's probably turning up yelling crazy at WrestleMania, so that's why I'm assuming his voice is a little bit.
This guy, bro. He was all over. He was a kid in the candy store at WrestleMania.
I'm already knowing he was. I can just imagine.
As I show
souvenir.
For our audio only listeners, I'm currently displaying my WrestleMania souvenir cup, which I bought. Oh, what'd you say, Jaevon?
Did you get the chair?
Oh no, I didn't get the chair because I wasn't that close. I had solid seats, but I was not that close. You have to be
Kittle?
like, I saw Kittle, bro. So I saw Kittle real quickly. I'll just say quick tangent about my WrestleMania weekend. I wasn't planning on being. I know. I'm still in recovery mode. I mean, I was screaming. I didn't get the result that I wanted in the main event of WrestleMania, but I was screaming. Anyways, I acknowledge my tribal chief, Roman Reigns. Just continuing. Kittle, I wanted to mention about Kittle is that when we were there, I saw Kittle walking in like before the show started, and I saw him walk up to the second row with his wife, and I was like, oh shit, George Kittle's here. Dope. I was just like, all right, cool. He's here to see the show. It's in Cali. Yeah. And then for him to hop the rail and to basically beat up the Miz with Pat McAfee, tag teaming him with the NFL special. I mean, I bet that was a dream come true for George Kittle. And maybe if I get to a high enough status, then I can have a guest spot in WWE like that one day.
That'd be so
in no way possible would I ever consider myself to be a superstar because I just don't got that dog in me. But if I could get a 2-minute guest spot, that'd be cool.
Tag me in too, Shaun. I want that.
Yeah, we just see Kittle get pushed. The Miz. Yeah, when you see Kittle sitting front row and then the Miz just pushes him, I was like, oh, he's gonna be in it. He's always
nowadays. There's always somebody in it.
How much he loves wrestling, though, so it was bound to happen. So he's probably gonna be a wrestler after it's all said and done.
I wouldn't put it past him, to be honest. And Gary, go ahead.
I'm probably switching the whole topic. You know, man, I got so many topics to talk about. You guys,
Gary,
go ahead.
Yeah. I just want to say, because I know you got a lot on your mind, but before we did move on, I wanted to ask Jaevon from our outsider's perspective. Should Kings fans be satisfied with this season? Even, I'm not going to go as far to say a sweep in the first round, like of them getting swept and then calling that a season. But let's just say, hypothetically, the Kings lose in the first round. Should Kings fans be happy or satisfied or whatever word you want to throw on it? Should Kings fans be satisfied with this season if they were to lose in the first round of the playoffs?
Oh, no, you guys won. This is the Super Bowl for you guys. It's 16 long years, no playoffs, didn't sniff. like I said, Gary, before last week's podcast, I said, you guys go all the way back to the John Salmon days, the Brad Miller days. Like, we've seen the worst of the worst when it comes to Kings players and, people that were on those teams. So, for sure came a long way, especially with this season, going through that revolving door of coaches and players and ownership, going through a whole change with the Maloof selling the team, and then, going through the new ownership change and GM change, finding the right GM. You had Vlade as a GM, and now you got McNair. You got McNair, who just signed his extension, by the way. So he's going to be there for the time being. So you guys got the coach, you guys got the GM, you got the players, you got the all-stars.
We're more hungry. We're more hungry for more.
Who's to say that they don't win a playoff series? Who's to say they don't win one? Who's to say that they don't win one? Hey, a lot of people are saying that they want to. Oh, everyone's getting all giddy for that 6th spot because against Sacramento, and this is
really want us.
Yeah, the Lakers want it. We're starving for the 6th spot. The Warriors are like, oh, we can't wait to get the 6th spot. Clippers are like, man, if we play the Kings, man. Oh, this is going to be on and popping. So I think a lot of people I don't know, be careful what you wish for. If you want to
simple.
If you want that 6th seed, hey man, there's a starving fan base that can't wait to host a playoff series. And they're like, oh, it's going to be all freaking, shits and giggles, and it's going to be this and that. I don't think it's going to be the home court advantage at Golden One is going to be massive. The first playoff game they're probably, to be honest, I think the Kings may or may not have the best home court advantage just in all of sports.
We're tied, I think, with the Celtics right now. We're tied with the Celtics right now, I think.
Based off of just home court advantage, a franchise that has not seen a playoff game in 16 long years, those fans are going to be outstanding. They can't wait for a playoff game in Sacramento. So all these
but I'm not going to lie, Vaughn.
Yeah, all these.
I was going to put this up. Go ahead. My bad.
I was gonna say all these people that are saying that they can't wait to play Sacramento. Be careful what you wish for, because I don't see them losing a home playoff game in the first round.
Go ahead, Gary.
No, I was just gonna say, really, my bad for cutting you off, Vaughn. Trying to get back in the motion here, but I was just trying to say that literally, I feel like the only thing I'm kind of nervous about, and you tell me what you think about this, Shaun, too, that if we play Golden State, like most crowds are 90 home, 5%, 95 home, 5% away. If we're in the Bay, I can see some Bay Area. I don't want to use any bad words, you know me, but any guys come into our arena and trying to okay, now we're like 75-25. The Laker fans here too. It might be another 75-25. Then that home court advantage that we have against teams is going to be a little. I do think our King fans are going to pop it out. They're going to bring it out. I also think we're going to travel too if we play in those cities. You know what I'm saying? But I also think it's kind of going to be like not as like if we play Minnesota, well, we're going to drown them out. You know what I'm saying? Play OKC somehow, New Orleans. You know what I'm saying? Maybe even the Clippers, we might drown them out too, because I don't know how many fans are going to be traveling to Sac like that. But those two teams, the Lakers and the Warriors, I said it before. I want to play the Warriors, and I'm going to stick to that. I still want to play the Warriors. So let the Warriors take the 6th seed. But I am a little nervous, Vaughn, about how the home court advantage might not be as big as a factor if we play then, just because we already know the Bay Area is down the street.
I don't think that's going to be too much, just because of it being, it's been 16 years since I get that there will be Warrior fans there, though. If you guys play the Lakers, there'll be Laker fans there, as if, even when they're like regular season games, you wouldn't know just how, diverse the crowd is. But I think it's still going to be 90-10, even if it were Warriors or Lakers, just because of, hey, it's our first playoff game and however long it is. So I don't see that being too much of a factor. I still think you guys would have a great home court advantage no matter what, who you guys play.
Well, speaking of the Golden State Warriors, they actually play the Sacramento Kings in a regular season game coming up before the season. Yes, sir. On Friday, before the season, the regular season, that is, because the Sacramento Kings are playoff bound. But the Kings play the Warriors on Friday, as Jaevon mentioned. And Have you guys seen? Oh my God, I feel like my voice is like nothing today. Anyways, have you guys seen how much tickets are going for that game on Friday? Like the cheapest ticket in the arena, 200 something row R. Guess how much money one of those tickets is going for right now? Go ahead, Gary.
200.
Okay, 300? A little up. That's the first Jaevon dropout of the.
I was actually gonna say that first earlier.
That's one. We set our over.
We gotta make a ticker, 10. Bro. We gotta make this a ticker.
All right,
we gotta figure it out.
That's one for this episode.
We gotta start having like those little tallies in the corner. I'm telling you.
There you go. I know. Yeah, I got it. Exactly. And so so Jaevon, Gary guessed 200 for the ticket. I'm gonna just say
$450.
Okay, so if we were playing The Price is Right, Gary would have won there because and just for the record, Gary, that was not Shaun's pop quiz. But Gary would have won there if we were playing Price is Right because the ticket that I saw earlier on StubHub, $269 was where it started out at. And as we know, that's before fees. So like Jaevon just said, about 300.
I was gonna say 300.
Factor in everything.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so
if you want a good seat in the playoffs, it's gonna be like $400, $500. That first game is gonna be the most expensive.
Yeah, I'm gonna watch what I say. Yeah, go.
Do you think it'll be cheaper if actually you travel to game 3 and 4 if we play somewhere in Cali? It might be cheaper to go to LA or cheaper to go to. I mean, the Warrior tickets are expensive too. Actually, those two cities are hella expensive too. Actually, so what am I saying?
Only
tickets are pretty expensive, guys.
I would say only if the Kings played the Clippers in the first round. That would be the only time that the tickets would probably be cheaper in an opposing arena. And then obviously you got to factor in like travel costs and everything. Go ahead, Jaevon.
They're going to bring back all the old Kings. We're going to see C. Webb, Mike Bibby, Doug Christie's the coach already. I mean, Vlade, Peja, all those guys are probably going to come back for like the first game or two. And then they'll just be sitting court. Jay Williams. Cool. Jay Williams might be.
Don't forget Brad. He always there.
Brad's a staple. Brad's always there. And so I just want to get to one of our YouTube comments real quick, and it's from our guy Kevin who was tuning in, and he said it was amazing, best day of my life, when he was referring to last Wednesday night when the Kings. Yep, that is 2 officially for our audio only listeners. That's 2 of Jaevon dropping out. And so, anyways, Kevin was saying it was amazing, best day of my life, and it's because Kevin, Gary, as we saw on television, was like a row behind the Sacramento Kings bench, and he was one of the many Sacramento Kings fans there to witness history, chanting "Light the beam" as the Kings clinched their first playoff appearance since 2006. And now today, Gary, as I mentioned at the beginning of today's episode, the Kings have officially are 1 game away, are an hour away. The Kings have officially clinched the Pacific Division. And this is only the 3rd time in the franchise's history that they have done that, Gary. And so I was just wondering, what are your thoughts on the Kings accomplishing such a feat? Because we hang division banners in Sacramento, and we're about to get a 3rd.
We're not going to hang that banner. Shaun,
why not?
Try to tell you, I don't think we're going to hang the banner. I hope we don't hang the banner because
the other 2 are up there.
And that would look at those years. That's why we're not going to do it. Do other teams do this?
Those years were the best years of Sacramento Kings franchise history.
We look like little bums putting these little things in the Pacific Division crowns up. Vaughn, do you think we should put a Pacific Division, what's it called? In the Raptors, the little, what's it called?
A banner.
You guys have other Pacific Division banners up there?
Yeah, they got two up there.
Exactly. This is the 3rd in franchise history. So those other 2 are hanging proudly in the Raptors.
I don't think we're going to do it, Shaun. No.
It's going up.
No, don't hang it. Could we get some more pride? See, that's why Coach Brown's here, bro. He's trying to change the culture. This is like preschool level thing. We're trying to make it to the big league, guys. We're already in the big league technically. Big league. We big league stuff. And we can't be putting those things up in there. We should just be happy what we did, but now we got to push forward. I don't think the Warriors, they got those banners up there. I know the Lakers for sure don't, obviously. I don't know. Who else teams? I don't think. Especially the division. Yeah. It's good and all, obviously, but it's not as important as obviously just the conferences in terms of obviously football division way matters way more. But obviously, we're happy. I'm happy that we clinched division. I'm proud of Sacramento Kings for doing that. All the players and coaching staff, so on and so forth. This whole city supporting them. So congratulations to us, especially since I think I seen the setup there. You can just put a picture, which is so cool. The Kings clinched division with KD, LeBron, Anthony Davis, I think Paul George, Kawhi, all up in the division. Chris Paul, Devin Booker. So we can, we got all those people. What are you talking about?
Hey, Vaughn, he's here. He's here.
He's been in the division 2 minutes.
Exactly.
And he got hurt 2 minutes in.
Exactly. So he's been in our division before, so it don't matter. But yeah, exactly. So we go over here and beat all them people. So you know what? We're gonna take our lap around.
De'Aaron Fox and Domantas Sabonis will be on top of the division with a Steph Curry, LeBron, Devin Booker, Kevin Durant, Kawhi Leonard, Paul George.
Yeah, I didn't even name Curry in them. I didn't even name Curry in them.
Yeah, bro, it's insane.
That would have been a good bet right there, Vaughn. Big good bet.
Oh my goodness, there's a guy that put $10,000 on the Kings to win the NBA championship, and it's like pending, it's like for $10 million or something like that, something crazy.
I saw Jaevon. I saw one of those bets that officially cast tonight, and it was a guy who put $100 on the Kings to win the division at the beginning of the year, and it paid out $30,000. $30,000. It said 30,100 were his winnings, which are just absolutely mind-blowing and insane. And I just want to get to a quick statistic that I saw earlier in regard to the Kings clinching the division. Here it is. Sacramento clinches the Pacific Division. And Jaevon, you're going to love this since you're a big betting guy. Sacramento clinches the Pacific Division and becomes the biggest preseason long shot to win any division in the NBA, NFL, NHL, MLB since 2010. Man, if you put $1 down, you would have won like 3,000. That, man. Hindsight is 2020, right?
I should have listened to the 40 wins, guys.
You should.
They were prophets.
Listen to me, Vaughn. I said top 6. Did I not hear?
They were the blueprint. You wouldn't have picked the Kings to win the division before this.
Hey, no, I'm not gonna lie. I did pick them to beat. I asked my friend Gil. He literally told him.
Pull the receipts. I don't believe
I can text him. I'm gonna actually pull it. Our text messages are so long. Good luck finding those. But I remember texting.
Bring the receipt to next week's episode. I need to see it, Gary.
But anyways,
picks or it didn't happen.
No, I didn't put Side Pacific Division. I'm not gonna lie. I said we should put $100 down that they're gonna make a top 6 seed, and it was like you win. If we both put 100 each, it was like gonna be like I think like 5,000-6,000 something crazy. Those are way early before I think we even signed Monk. I was like, bro, we should just do this right now. We looking good, man. I was messing with him
in the summer, bro. That was way before.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's why I was like telling him messing around with them, but he was like, oh, y'all ain't going nowhere, bro. I'm like, man, discouraged me.
The guy that won that guy that won $30,000 is from the future. I'm telling you, Shaun.
I think so. I honestly think so because for the last 17 years, especially for the last 17 years, but also if you're betting on the Kings to win their division every year, that's throwing money away for the last 20 years. So congratulations to that guy. If it finally hit, or if he just had
that made up for all the years.
It really must have. It really must have. And so I just want to show credit, give kudos, all those good things, because here on Stats Over Politics, I have a note sheet. As we see, it is almost about halfway full. The first thing at the very no space. You see that?
You going line to line.
That's why.
Shaun.
Yeah.
Hey, it's well organized. I have dash marks on the side. It's well organized.
Okay,
all right. Anyways, the very top of this amazing sheet of note paper says, will the Kings finish as a top 6 seed in the West? This question was asked on December 6th, 2022, episode number 4.
There we go.
Jaevon?
No.
Shaun? Nope. Gary? Yes.
Kevin?
Hell yeah.
Yeah, Kev.
That was great.
From the following week, and injuries have something to do with this, but hey, on the following week, Mr. Jaevon Toddy said Pelicans will finish number 1 in the West.
That was
terrible. I hate these recaps, man. Don't worry about it. It's all perspective and timing during the moment. Don't worry about it.
The last thing that I will mention from this amazing note sheet is that I revisited that question on, on February 20th, 2023, episode number 16. So about 2.5 months later, I asked that same question. Will the Kings finish as a top 6 seed in the West? And we got official numbers on this one. Mr. Shaun Holko, 7th.
This was after the trade deadline, I think, too.
This was after the trade deadline.
Yeah. I'm so happy to say that, even though you don't care being wrong.
I've never been more happy to be wrong. 7th. Okay. Next on the list, Kevin, 5th. So, all right. We'll see how it shakes out, Kevin. Jaevon, do you remember what you said?
Did I say
10 probably, Vaughn.
3rd? No,
not Jaevon. Close, Jaevon. You said 4th in February. You saw the light. I didn't see the light yet, apparently, but you saw the light in February. Jaevon said 4th. Gary, do you remember what you said?
He said 1st.
What'd you say, Gary?
I probably said 3 or 4. Who knows? It depends my day was. When we was on a losing streak, I might have been deep in my feelings. Nah, I've been pretty consistent. I think 3.
Ding, ding, ding. Gary said 3rd.
If
the standings hold.
Right on it. I can't. Right on it. Damn.
If the standings hold, then at least 2 months into the future, Gary saw it, because right now the Kings are the 3 seed.
Didn't the Nuggets lose today?
I honestly haven't even looked at the Western Conference standings today, so one of you will have to fact check.
They're 2 above. They're still 2 above Memphis. I think they won today, actually.
Well, the point is that I was extremely wrong. I could not be more happy about being wrong, and it's great to be a Sacramento Kings fan. Everyone
Nuggets lost to the Rockets today.
Yeah. No, yep, Shaun, you're right. But I think, did you write something else down? I think I said the Lakers are going to be 6th or something like that. I remember I still had faith when LeBron went down. I remember everyone was...
How high will the Lakers finish? February 27th, 2023, episode 17. Gary said play-in. Oh, that's number 3 on Jaevon falling out. So there we go. He'll be back soon.
Play-in 7th.
All right. So, Gary, you said play-in. Kevin said out. I said out. Jaevon said play in. We'll see. It could still go either way, honestly, in my opinion. It's all right. It's so close and bunched up.
Yep. Oh, let's get it moving, Shaun.
All right. Well, let's keep things moving as our friend Jaevon rejoins us after his 3rd fallout of the stream.
He's scowled it.
Hey, Gary said that we should start keeping a tally board or a ticker.
You got to.
At least until you call Xfinity and you be like, hey, why do you all hate me? Anyways, I just wanted to get to one of our YouTube comments real quickly, and you can check us out. You can stream and watch us streaming right now live on youtube.com/statsoverpolitics. So make sure to tap in with us. And one of the guys who is tapping in with us right now is our guy, Julian. And he says, what's up with the guys? Good day, Hawks W. Nobody cares about the Hawks who remain at 500. The Hawks, like, they win 1, they lose 1. They win 2, they lose 2. Like, the definition of mid.
The definition of mid.
They break it like 10 Ingrams there, like every single time they're 500.
Exactly. But hey, what's up with our guy Julian? We appreciate you tapping in and appreciate you dealing with me with my lackadaisical voice this week after WrestleMania weekend. I know you were probably locked into that, Julian. Anyways, guys, go ahead, Gary. Last thought.
Their life right now.
Good. That's what I love to hear. Go ahead, Gary.
Still keeping the Sacramento Kings, Shaun? We're still keeping the Sacramento Kings, right? I got one more question.
I was about to move on, but please hit us with it right now.
One more Sacramento Kings question. Move on. We good?
I want to know.
Doo-dooed on somebody's.
What?
He said LeBron doo-dooed on someone.
Oh my God, he's funny.
Oh wait, no.
He missed it.
All right. Go ahead, Gary. Go ahead.
All right. Who do you guys want to play for us Sacramento Kings fans? Our Sacramento Kings supporters here. Obviously, that's the only team we are biased towards. What team? Who do you think we should play, Shaun? Who do you want to play?
I mean, who do I want to play? I want the
Minnesota
Timberwolves. I want the Timberwolves. I want the Timberwolves because I don't look at the reaction. Look at the reaction on Gary's face. The reason, let me tell you,
we don't want them,
Timberwolves.
Shaun. We don't want them.
Okay, well, I do. I do, and let me tell you why. The reason why is because I honestly think that the Sacramento Kings are a superior team to the Minnesota Timberwolves. Would they give us a fight? Yes. Would they beat us in 1 or 2 games? Probably. But I am confident in the Sacramento Kings and their home court advantage if they were to play the Minnesota Timberwolves in the first round. And after all this talk I've been hearing about, the Timberwolves want us, the Lakers want us, the Warriors want us. Every team in the NBA wants the Sacramento Kings, who are the number 3 seed.
Experience.
Yeah, yes, but I mean, they forget about Harrison Barnes and NBA Finals MVP Matthew Dellavedova, not actually the MVP. Don't at me. But anyways, as Jaevon, hey, look, Jaevon, we got 2 of you.
That's so weird.
Bro, what is that?
I'm gonna kick the other account from the studio. Don't leave, Jaevon. Don't leave.
You got a twin.
All right, we're back. Anyways, so. The reason why I want the Timberwolves, Gary, is just because I've been hearing all this. Kings want to avoid the Timberwolves. No. Bro, as the Street Profits said numerous times this past weekend at WrestleMania weekend, we want the smoke. Bring the smoke, Minnesota. Come on, Wes. Bring it. We want it. Jaevon, who do you think the Kings should play? Who should Kings fans want to play is actually the question.
I don't really know. I don't think the Kings want to play anyone.
We want a first round bye.
Yeah, they want to just, hey, you guys, 16 years. You spent 16 long, hard years, and your reward is LeBron James in the first round. You get Steph Curry in the first round. Like I said, I kind of agree with Shaun. The Kings fans want to play in Minnesota, but what I think is probably going to happen, they're probably going to play the Warriors. That's what I think is going to happen. They're going to end up probably playing the Warriors. Well, the Warriors are losing right now. As of right now, they're losing against the OKC Thunder.
Okay, 92-89.
Yeah, so I think the way the standings are going to go is they'll play Golden State in the first round. And that'll be how it will be. That'll be how it will be. We'll see how that goes. We all know the Warriors. They kind of fall asleep when they go on the road this year for some odd reason. They've only won like 8 games or 9 games on the road. It's pretty alarming. So that should tell you what for Kings fans, like, hey, maybe we want Golden State first round. We got home court advantage. We can, if it goes 7 games, we got home court advantage. So that'll be a tough one, though. As far as the Lakers go, the Lakers are, obviously it's LeBron James, Anthony Davis, but we don't know, are they going to be healthy for the remainder of the playoffs? It's usually LeBron's playing, 80's hurt. 80's are LeBron's playing. And then, D'Angelo Russell is kind of in and out of the lineup. So we're kind of just trying to figure out on how, can these guys stay healthy all throughout the playoffs? So I think what's going to happen is, the Warriors. Friday's game is going to be a lot. There's going to be a lot of implications on Friday's game, kind of coming down to it. The Warriors could be fighting for playoff contention. The
worst time for a Jaevon freeze. This Jerry is what we call a cold world. And so, anyways. Gary, I just wanted to get your thoughts on this because you were very adamant that you think that the Sacramento Kings and their fans should not want the Minnesota Timberwolves. To me, Gary, you're going with the narrative that has been out there in the last week, but you're also going with the results because you were there for that Minnesota Timberwolves game. You saw it live, and you saw the trouble that the Sacramento Kings and Domantas Sabonis had with the Minnesota Timberwolves. I mean, Rudy Gobert is a 3-time defensive player of the year for a reason, regardless of all the slander that he gets because of the bad trade that he was a part of. But tell me why I'm wrong and why the Sacramento Kings shouldn't want the Timberwolves. And then I want to hear who you want the Kings to play and why.
No problem, Shaun. So I would say the reason why I do not want to play the Timberwolves, and maybe you're more on Twitter and stuff of that nature than me, NBA Twitter, to know how the King fans and stuff like that are feeling, other than me just talking to them in person, the ones I come across. But in my opinion, I don't think that, not just because we're 3-1, I think 3-0, whatever we were against season series against the Timberwolves. We beat them one time maybe in Minnesota. They had our number this year. They're one of the few teams that actually had our number this year, which is no problem. I think the simple fact is just the matchup problem. You already mentioned it. We all know Sabonis kills everyone on the offensive end, can really point guard his thing up, getting all the shooters free range, does his best he can to D up as much as he can. But as we know, we're not good defensively, and everyone takes a ownership in that, obviously. And that's going to put a lot of burden having to deal with Gobert. And don't forget Cat. Cat did not play in some of these games, Shaun, and Cat's going to be a handful. Just look at the game that we played them. The game before, he had a game winner against the Warriors on a transition 3, and he's clicking all cylinders too. I know they haven't got it, but if they get healthy, and like the one today, I'm just looking down, so the one today versus Brooklyn, and right now they're sitting the ninth seed as we speak. I do not want to play them, Shaun. I just feel like it's a bad matchup on our part. Yes, I feel like our crowd's going to be having them in their motions, but I just feel like us, for our team, matchup-wise, I wouldn't like that. Would I still pick us to win? Yes, I have faith in our Sacramento Kings. But there's other teams I want to play. Let's go down the list. Obviously, with the long shots, I don't know if they're going to be able to get there. OKC, obviously, I'd want to play OKC. I just feel like it's going to be a young gun running around. I feel like we got better players than them. They have a lot of young core guys. I highly doubt they make it. They're probably losing the play-in. Do I want to play New Orleans? Obviously, what I see tonight, I would love to play New Orleans, especially if Zion Williamson, the great guy, hopefully he gets better and feels better soon. But if he doesn't play in this series, which I don't think he will because he hasn't played all year basically, then I would want to play New Orleans, even though they had a little spark last year with CJ and Ingram doing their thing in the playoffs, and Alvarado. They really had some chemistry last year. So I know they would be tough, but I want to play them because I feel like matchup-wise, as we can see by tonight's game, we're going to good matchup versus them. The team that I do not want to play at all. I do not, even though I would love, because I would probably try to attend these games and things of that nature. I do not want to play the Los Angeles Lakers. I do not want to play the Lakers because you can say what we want, Shaun, but the Lakers have turned it around. The Lakers, as we predicted, as we've seen, LeBron was out. They added what LeBron's always been loving his whole career. 3-and-D guys, let him stir the pot. We got a big man, Anthony Davis, helping him on the defensive end. Come in. If you can be consistent, it's obviously the biggest key, as we all know what the whole playoff picture is, stay healthy. If he stays healthy in the first round versus us, it's going to be tough again because the matchup Sabonis and Anthony Davis, the height disadvantage, obviously LeBron. They got Vanderbilt. They got long guys. You know what I'm saying? So that's what it's going to be a little tough for us. But don't get me wrong. I don't think, like you said, I highly, highly doubt. Put a lot of money on this, Shaun. I highly doubt whoever we play, we will at least go to game 6. We will at least go to games. We will not get swept by 4. I don't even think we'll lose to 5 to any of these teams we're playing. Another team that I want to play the most, there's 2 teams I want to play the most, but the really team I really want to play, I want to play the Warriors. Yeah, write that down, Shaun.
I'm writing down the first thing. I'm writing down the first, just for the record, for our audio-only listeners. What I'm writing down right now is Garry just said that the Sacramento Kings, no matter what, are going to at least either they're going to win the series in less than 6 games, or they are going to win at least. Basically, what you're saying is the Kings will win at least 2 games in the first round of the NBA playoffs. Okay, simple. There you go. Let me just write that down. And you said you want the Warriors. Let me know why you want the Warriors, the reigning world champions, the dynasty.
All right, before I even get okay, you can set. Okay, I like how you set that up too.
I tried.
One more before I want to go actually the team that I want to play. The team I actually don't want to play, at least 2. I'll mention before we get there, the Clippers. We could play them. I'd actually want to play them more than the Lakers. They're probably the second team I want to play other than New Orleans. And I would want to play New Orleans first. Then I would obviously want to play. I would want to play the Golden State Warriors and the Clippers. The reason I wouldn't want to play the Clippers again, Zubac, and we don't got Kawhi. I mean, PG1 might not play, which might be helpful for us. But still, dealing with Kawhi and their deep 3-point shooting team being long, obviously we're matched up with them great in the regular season. But just the Zubac presence, I feel like it's going to be just better for us if we play the Warriors. And I'm going to go into the Warriors. All right, Shaun, no matter who we play, or do you agree with this? Everyone's going to say we don't have no experience, correct? Because we obviously don't.
Correct.
So that doesn't matter
except
to me.
for Matthew Dellavedova and Harrison Barnes.
Okay, compared to really people who play continue minutes every daily, I guess
yes.
you can. Actually,
yes, sir.
HB Sabonis has obviously been to playoffs too with the Pacers, so you can say that as well. All right, we can make our coaching staff has been some of our coaching staff obviously has been to the playoffs. LB, Mike Brown, things of that nature. So obviously we can say we have some experience here and there. The main players on the floor, like Fox, obviously hasn't been there yet, and Sabonis has been that far. Our two main guys, right? Monk hasn't been there. We also got a rookie, things of that nature. HB hasn't been there for a while, obviously, because he's been with the Kings. The reason why I want to play the Warriors, and it's going to be tough because the coaching staff is going to know each other a lot now because of Mike Brown being there for quite a while. We also run the same system as them. But I think we can match them with shooting, Shaun. I know they got the two best shooters ever. They got Poole, but I know people think our guys are streaky, but I believe in our Monk. I believe in Herter. I believe in TD. I believe in Fox being a slasher and not just making a 3-point shooting team. I believe in the Draymond and Sabonis matchup. And I know Draymond Green said that he would like us too. And he's actually said he didn't say it because we're weak. He more said it because of travel and things of that nature. And that's what he was trying to make prove to. But obviously, Draymond probably thinks he has confidence versus anybody. It's Draymond Green. As you know, I actually like watching this podcast. You know, people might hate it. Oh, well, you know me. I like everyone's podcast, to be honest. I don't think I hate no media person, barely. But anyways, back to what I was saying. I was saying it's because that matchup. Yes, Draymond Green is a I think 2-time, 3-time defensive player of the year. Him and Sabonis are the same height. It's not going to be that difficult for him to handle him. He's not going to the dynasty killers. Yeah, exactly. Nick, shout out to Nick. I don't know if he officially won the tournament challenge. Shaun, Nick might just tell us right now if you want. But if he is, Nick, we're going to contact you to come on. He said he decided to come on anyways. Side note, but
congratulations, Nick, and thanks for tuning in. We appreciate you, Nick Rule.
He won, right? Officially?
I believe so. I gotta officially check it right now because, to be honest, I already deleted the tournament challenge app, so I can't check it right away. But
I was in first place for like a week.
Those stats, the stats got you pretty far.
Stats got me pretty far. I ain't gonna lie. I literally just kept saying what the stats said. Anyways,
well, actually, I
want to play the Golden State Warriors.
I'm sorry, Gary. I'm sorry. I got to cut you off just to set the record straight. I don't know if Nick won. I don't think. Yeah, and he said it right there. Nick came in second, unfortunately, because Ilara,
Nick's
1993. Congratulations.
Good.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We appreciate you, Nick, for tuning in. Congratulations to Ilara, 1993, for picking UConn and winning our Stats Over Politics men's bracket challenge. I mean, our women's bracket challenge, I kicked ass. I won it. So I took one of the spots. I apologize, everyone. But congratulations to actually, now that I think about it, Ilara, that's Emmanuel Lara. Or excuse me, not Emmanuel, Emilio Lara. That's my friend. So Emilio, he will be joining us on
there you
the
go, Shaun.
coming up. Congratulations to Emilio. I gotta send him a text. Anyways, please go ahead, Gary.
Anyways, appreciate all you guys tuning in and participating in that challenge too. I was just gonna say, finishing my thought. I think it's just like I've been going back saying this whole time. I always believe this, and that's why I didn't want to. Obviously, I think we talked about. I don't want to talk about the much yet because it ain't set yet. Because a lot of playoff scenarios are gonna be based off, in my mind, matchups and situations on who we play and who plays who and what series, what round they're going to play. So I feel if we play the Warriors, we're going to match up great against them. Yes, it's going to be hard to stop Stephen Curry, the best shooter of all time. It's going to be hard to stop Draymond Green. It's going to be hard to stop these guys. They're defending champions. But if we could stop anybody, if we could prove and make a big slap in the NBA's face that we did something and we deserve more respect during the regular season, it's taking down the champs. And that's the best chance we got because we're going to be able to match them with shooting. And to be honest with you, we both are so-so. So defense will be played too much. So it'll just be a shootout. And yes, they got the best shooters, but I believe in our guy, De'Aaron Fox, making the difference as a slasher and how deep we are too. So, Vaughn, you missed the whole spiel. I hope you got the spiel.
I'm just trying to make sure I don't get lagged out again.
We appreciate you rejoining us, Vaughn. It looks like you have changed locations.
We're in an undisclosed
you got a
location.
Mic, everything switched up.
I've been
you got clear and everything.
It's out of the picture.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. Hey, you got clear and everything.
No, look.
Hell yeah. Well, Jay, it sounds good, looks good. We appreciate you rejoining us, Jaevon. And Gary was just saying how he doesn't want the Timberwolves. He also said that the Kings will he guaranteed it. The Kings will win at least 2 games in the first round of the playoffs. He said, if the Kings,
easy. That's easy.
Hey, there you go. Oh, I mean, do you say the same thing? Do you say the same thing? Because I wrote it. I wrote it on the notepad. I can add
that
you
means
to
going to
Gary's
game 6
parlay.
no matter what.
I said the Kings can win the playoff series. They're gonna win both of their home games.
Oh, there you go.
Oh, I like you up me on that one.
Regardless of the opponent, they're gonna win both of their home games.
There you go.
Okay. I just said they're gonna go to game 6 at least, Vaughn. Losing game 6 or winning game 6. But at least I said they're gonna at least get to game 6 or game 7. We won't lose in 5. And I don't know if we'll beat anyone in 5 as well, to be honest with you. So
that's what I'm saying. They'll
exactly.
Play, it's gonna go 6 or 7 games for sure.
For sure. Well, I'm really excited for it, guys. And Jaevon, Gary.
What do you think, Shaun? Go ahead.
I'm gonna continue my pessimism train. That's worked out for me pretty well. I'm gonna move on now. I'm gonna move on now just because we just went about 50 minutes with that King, or about 45 minutes with that King segment. And we got to keep it pushing to get to some March Madness here. But before we move on here on episode number 23 of Stats Over Politics, I just want to get to a quick YouTube comment from our guy James, who's tapping in, and he says, "What's up with the guys? Shaun, how was LA?" It was awesome. I mean, you could probably tell by my voice not being here that I had a great time, and I was screaming very much all throughout the weekend. And also give a shout out to Uncle Manny tuning in. Says, "Let's go Kings!" Kings clinched the Pacific Division for the first time in 2 decades.
You guys get like a trophy? Is there like a Pacific Division?
We get a banner. We get a banner, and we are going to hang it proudly, Gary. Okay, we are going to hang it very proudly. And I'm not taking anything otherwise. I am not going to take anything otherwise. So,
they got shirts. The team got shirts, I bet.
Shirts,
which is good.
Which
is good.
Oh, I'm buying a damn shirt. I am buying a damn shirt. I have bought.
Oh my God.
I bought.
Kevin already bought his shirt, probably. An hat.
Yes. I mean, I've bought A's division championship shirts. I bought 49ers division championship shirts. I bought 49ers conference championship shirts. I have never had the opportunity.
You guys celebrate little moments. I'm going to celebrate chips out here, Vaughn. And I'm a Kings fan. I'm going to celebrate trying to celebrate chips.
It is a chip.
I'm trying to celebrate the big one.
Yeah.
Oh, because I just feel like we're look like peasants then.
Oh my gosh.
He doesn't want to look like Minnesota last year when they were.
I don't. Shaun. I'm cool. I want to be happy. I want to celebrate. Yes, I do. Take a shot for the Kings in the playoffs, whatever. I know Shaun probably took a shot for the Pacific Division crown.
Oh yeah, last Wednesday I had definitely after the pod. I last Wednesday I had a great time to myself. I was by myself in my apartment. I made myself a nice drink. I also prepared something else nice for myself. And I had a great solo celebration of the Sacramento Kings clinching the Pacific Division. It was pretty great. My neighbors probably hate me because I was screaming. I started screaming with 8 minutes to go because that's when they went up 30 against the Trailblazers. And when they went up 30, I was like, it's happening. I cannot believe it's like it.
Kevin was on TV.
Kevin was popping.
Kevin was on TV, and you could see.
Apparently, the Kings camera crew though liked Alyssa better because they kept putting her on TV, and they were cutting it off right at Kevin, and I felt bad. Yeah. But yeah, Kevin was there to witness history. As we mentioned earlier in the show, as he said, it was amazing and the best day of his life. So I'm happy for Kevin.
His profile picture is him in high school.
Yeah, exactly. That is
Kevin's picture.
Exactly. Go ahead, Gary.
Just for Kevin's wifey perspective, I think she's gonna say that the best day is the marriage day. So I'll make that second for you, Kevin.
Kev.
Respond to that one.
Yeah. Well, we appreciate you all for tuning in here on episode number 23 of Stats Over Politics. If you're watching on YouTube right now, make sure to give us a like. It really helps us out a lot. If you like the show, hit subscribe to get notifications when we go live. In case we have a week like this week where we don't go live on Monday, but you want to make sure to tune in every single time we go live on YouTube and Twitter. You can follow us on social media on Instagram and TikTok at Stats Over Politics and on Twitter at Stats or Politics. Make sure to subscribe, rate, and review on all podcast platforms if you're tuned into the audio right now. And if you're enjoying the show, give us 5 stars. We'd really appreciate it. As you're tuned into episode number 23 of Stats Over Politics, I'm your host, Shaun Holko, alongside my guys, Jaevon, Toddy, and Gary Singh. Well, Jaevon, something that Gary was just saying is that he was saying that he wanted the Warriors because Gary, I'm trying to transition. What?
I just wanted to help your promotion. Well, okay, well, quick. You just wanted to help your promotion. I would say make sure you tell your mama, your daddy, your granny, your grandson, anyone like that. Make sure you tell all of them real quick. That's it. Go ahead.
The whole family.
Yes, please do. Tell your family, tell your friends, all that. And so, Jaevon, something that Gary was saying is that he wanted the Golden State Warriors, and I think he's crazy for saying that he wants the reigning champions, the dynasty that is in the Golden State Warriors. I personally don't. I would much rather have a scrub team like the Minnesota Timberwolves. Yeah, Wes, at me. But I don't want the Warriors. Gary says that he wants the Warriors because he feels like the Kings can match the Warriors shooting. In big part,
and height. Yeah.
Well, yep, the shooting and the hype. But a big reason for Gary wanting Golden State Warriors feels like Sacramento Kings can match their shooting. And in big part, that has to do with Keegan Murray, who set the rookie 3-point record last Wednesday on the night that the Kings clinched a playoff spot, and Kevin Huerter, who have each surpassed 200 3-pointers for the season.
That's a lot.
And that's the first time that has ever happened in Sacramento Kings history where 2 players have made over 200 3-pointers in a season. So, guys, now I want to get to Shaun's Pop Quiz, as you might have been able to tell by the music in the background. Jaevon, you are at the top of our leaderboard right now. Well, actually, Kevin is, and then you're above Gary. At least for those who are present. You are at the top of the leaderboard right now, Jaevon. And so anyways, we're going to start with you just to say the quick scoreboard update. Kevin is at 12, Jaevon's at 10, and Gary is at 6. So, Gary, it is now time for you to try and make up some points. We're going to kick things off with you, Jaevon. So, as I mentioned, Keegan Murray.
A little bit.
Yeah. We'll see.
Be a little good. I think it's...
We'll check the stats. Stats over politics. Anyways, so Keegan Murray and Kevin Huerter, they each surpassed 200 made 3-pointers on the season. And we've seen Buddy Hield do that 3 times. We've seen Mitch Richmond do that 2 times. Jaevon, who is the other player in Sacramento Kings franchise history to make over 200 threes in a season? Buddy Hield did it 3 times. Mitch Richmond did it twice. Keegan Murray and Kevin Huerter have now done it once. There's one other King who has made over 200 3-pointers in a season other than Buddy Hield, Mitch Richmond, and the 2 active Sacramento Kings. Who is that player, Jaevon?
Was this player alive was this player playing while it was alive?
No hints.
Oh my God.
You're at the top of the leaderboard.
I'm going to say Mike Bibby.
Unfortunately, that is incorrect.
Oh my.
Gary, do you want to take a shot at a steal? As I think Jesse just walked into your room.
I know. Move. You go over your my shadow, bro. What you doing? I said Peja.
Damn it.
It is correct. Peja Stojakovic. Peja Stojakovic made 243 pointers in the 2003-2004 season. Peja Stojakovic made 200. I thought I gave you a toss-up. I thought I gave you a toss-up on that one, Jaevon. But
that's crazy. Wow, crazy. You know what my next guess was going to be? I was going to say Kevin Martin.
I mean, that's not a bad one. Kevin Martin, honestly, isn't a bad one. I don't think it is. Okay, so Gary, you get a point. Gary is now up to 7 on the scoreboard as we sit at 23 episodes. So now we got Kevin at 12, Jaevon at 10, Gary at 7. So now, Gary, this is your question. Hey, I mean, you're chipping away. You were okay. Anyways, let's continue. So, Gary, this is your question. As I mentioned earlier, this is the first time that the Sacramento Kings have clinched their division in a long time. This is their 3rd ever Pacific Division crown. When was the last time that the Sacramento Kings won the Pacific Division? What was the exact season?
2002, 2003.
That is correct. There you go.
Boom. You know, I just looked the other day too.
Right now.
I mean, Jaevon, Garry did say that his shooting percentage was pretty good. He may not have had many shots up, but for the ones he's gotten up, they've been all right.
The start was a little rough. It was the beginning of the season. I was cold.
Well, there you go. All right, guys. Bonus question. This would have been Kevin's question, but since he was unable to make it this week, this becomes a bonus question. You guys know the rules for bonus questions. It's the first person I hear, not the first person I see. The first person I hear is the first person I will give the first answer to, or the first response. So here's the question. As I mentioned, and Garry mentioned, the Sacramento Kings, they last won the division in 2003. This is now their third time that they have won the Pacific Division. When was the first time that they ever won the Pacific Division? What was that season?
Jesus Christ.
Were they Kings?
Okay, so
1984.
Okay. Garry, go ahead.
Were they Kings or the Royals?
I don't know.
Okay, I thought you was gonna have to be like, I was trying to be more clear on that one. Hey, repeat.
Shaun so
I know.
I will repeat the question, but I will not give hints. So, the Sacramento Kings won the division for the third time in franchise history. The last time was in 2003. They did it for the third time tonight.
2000, 2001?
What was the first time that they did it? Jaevon, was that your answer?
Mm-hmm.
2000, 2001? That is incorrect.
Damn it! 99, 2000.
Hold on,
Garry,
you can't just be throwing it.
No. Let's let Garry take a shot, and then Jaevon, I'll pass it back to you.
I don't know.
One of you are gonna get this.
88, 86, 88.
No, that is incorrect, and that is also 2 seasons right there. Anyways, so Jaevon, do you have a final guess? Final guess for each.
99, 2000.
That is incorrect. Garry, do you have another guess?
1959.
98, 99. I don't know.
I don't remember.
98, 99.
You guys literally guessed all around it. 2001.
2002. Damn it.
The year that they won 61 games and made it to Game 7 of the Western Conference Finals.
Was that the year of the tap out when Vlade did have to tap out to Robo?
Why didn't I go 1 year back?
Yes,
I'm an idiot.
That was it. That was it, Garry. It was 2001-02 was the first time they ever won the Pacific Division as the Sacramento Kings. And that was when they won 61 games. They were the number 1 seed in the West, made it to the Western Conference Finals, Game 7 against the Lakers. Yes, Jaevon, that was the series of the Robert Horry shot that we never want to speak about. Thank you very much. And then the Kings won the division again the following season.
When we were all
2002-03.
Yeah,
when we were all
for people. Just my main perspective for anyone I don't know about hate on.
You guys won the division with Shaq and Kobe.
We're 3, bro. Yep.
Yeah, we were very young, and now here we are in our early to mid-20s, and the Sacramento Kings have won the division. It's something that
we love you guys through the whole hellhole.
Man, speak it, Garry. Man, it's been tough for us Sacramento Kings fans as we can.
It's okay.
Yeah, it is okay. It is okay because you know what? We're back.
It's all good.
Yes, sir. We are back. And so now, as we continue here on episode number 23 of Stats Over Politics, Shaun Holko alongside Garry Singh and Jaevon Toddy. Now, gentlemen, let's get to some March Madness. Let's start it out with the ladies. Ladies first. As the LSU Tigers, as Jaevon points to his finger, he does the John Cena, you can't see me. The LSU Tigers defeated the Iowa Hawkeyes this past weekend as they topped the Hawkeyes. And for the most part, LSU was blowing them out for most of the game as Angel Reese defeats Caitlin Clark in the headline matchup. And Jaevon, what you were alluding to there with the point of the finger and the you can't see me, there was a lot of controversy. And so we will get to the game in a moment, but I want to get to this supposed controversy because for me as a women's basketball advocate, I love people talking about the women's game. I love people watching the women's game. We saw
highest rating.
Exactly. And we saw record-breaking numbers from the entire tournament, from the Final Four, and from this championship matchup. Yeah, and absolutely whooped the men's ass. Got that right, Garry. And
Yeah.
Yes, exactly. And it has a lot to do with players sticking around and playing multiple years in college on the women's side. But anyways, guys, let's get to the supposed controversy before that. And that was
highly level.
late
I just want to say that real quick too.
Yeah, yeah.
My bad. I think I'm lagging, so that's why you're hearing me late. But I was just trying to say high level. They've been playing at a high level. That's why.
For sure. Yeah, I got you. And so, anyways, and so the controversy that is even though LSU basically
there he is.
I think Garry clicked himself out on that one, but he will be back. And I just want to get to a YouTube comment real quick. As Uncle Manny said, it was great for women's basketball. I watched it for the first time in a long time. And Manny, I love to hear that because that's what the women's game needs is people tuning back in. And it was a good game, but LSU, they basically controlled the entire game. Late in that game, Jaevon, Angel Reese.
Hold on. Yeah. Shaun wasn't even watching the game. I was the one that was watching the game. Shaun was at WrestleMania while this game was going down. So let me break it down for you. Jasmine,
I gotta. Okay, go ahead. I gotta clear the air on that one, but I want to hear your take. Go ahead.
Jasmine, what's her name? Jasmine Carson went unconscious in the first half. She had like 20 points in the first. So like I think 20 of her 22 points in the first half. It all came in the first half. So Angel Reese. So I was talking to my cousin a little bit about this. He's plays basketball, also my business partner. He was kind of talking about the whole Angel Reese, Caitlin Clark deal and how Angel Reese was like, all right, like, you know, she's one of the top players on her team, but she only had like 15 points. And I think her average is like around 20 and like 10. So she was a little bit under her average. She didn't have like one of her best games ever, but Caitlin Clark had 30. so Angel Reese was essentially talking shit to Caitlin Clark and this, that, and the third, ring me and all this and that. And, you know, and Caitlin Clark dropped 30 on her. So it was like, why do you feel like you should talk shit to me? Like you couldn't guard me the entire game, blah, blah, blah. What I'll say to that is Angel Reese didn't have to do as much because you got girls like Jasmine Carson going for 22. You had Williams, she had 20. So like her whole team was pretty much like playing well, like as a unit. And that was kind of what LSU has kind of been known for. Like they just have a team full of dogs on that team. And they were kind of just, you know, knocking everybody out because, you know, their team is really good. Now I think as far as Iowa goes, it's kind of just been very Caitlin Clark heavy. She's having 40-point triple-double. She's dropping 30 in this game, 35 in that game. Like, if you take Caitlin Clark off of that team, you could argue they might not even make the tournament. So, I think the way that Iowa, how their system works is everything kind of just goes through Caitlin Clark, and she's kind of all these these comparisons she's getting to Steph Curry, just this, that, and the third. Like 12 million people probably viewed that game so they could watch Caitlin Clark play. That's probably the reason why a lot of people were watching that game. And as the game before that, in their Final Four game, they had like 5 million views because Caitlin Clark, she had a 40-point triple-double the game before that. What's she gonna do the next game? So even after their victory over South Carolina, who they were, oh my goodness, plus 750. They were plus 750. I looked at that line and I was like, damn, man, why is Iowa's? They were a 12-point dog. They were a plus 750 dog in that game, and I was like, damn, man, whatever you put on it on, just take a flyer on Caitlin Clark. She might fuck around and win that game. There's no way that they get blown out and lose by double digits. I didn't think they would lose by double digits. I thought it would have been close because just the way that she's been playing. But then for them to win that game, how much money you could have made off of Iowa in that game. And after they won and beat South Carolina, a lot of people were saying South Carolina was the best team in the tournament. That was probably the team that was going to win. The team that won that matchup was probably going to win the whole tournament. And when Iowa won, I was pretty much, I think the country was convinced. Vegas was definitely convinced because Iowa was the favorite going into that matchup against LSU. So, women's college basketball is steadily just growing year by year by year. And they got the highest rating ever with, I think it was 12.5 million views on Sunday. And so, I mean, I was definitely tuned into that game because, you know, all the hype talk, you know, even on the other side, you know, with Angel Reese and all those girls over there, hats off to them. They played very, very well. They won pretty convincingly. I think they won by 17. They won by. And a lot of people don't like the coach on LSU. I think Shaun can kind of attest to that a little bit more, but I'm not too sure why. I even saw Damian tweet about it. Like, he was like, I'm going to be sick if whatchamacallit wins a national championship. So,
yeah, Kim Mulkey.
Shaun, yeah, you could probably attest to, you know, why a lot of people don't really like her as much. But, hey, man, hats off to LSU.
Yeah, I got you here. First of all, I need to clear the air because you just slandered my name. Yes, I did not tune into the first half of this game.
Yeah.
Admittedly, out and about in LA, I did not tune in. But I was at the Culver City Mall when I saw it was halftime, and I was like, all right, I got to start watching this. We went to the food court, and I caught basically the fourth quarter of it, and I was sitting watching it on my phone in the Culver City Mall food court. And the reason why I'm saying this is, I mean, hey, if I miss a game, I miss a game. It's a very important game to miss, but I'd take the L on that. I caught the end of the game, and why this is important, Jaevon, is because I saw Angel Reese's taunt, trash talk, whatever you want to call it. I saw that live when it happened, and I absolutely loved it. I could not have loved it more. It was so great because what a lot of people don't want to talk about is, oh, yeah, Angel Reese was doing that, but where did she get the "you can't see me"? She didn't get it from John Cena. Maybe originally, but she got it from Caitlin Clark, who did it in the previous game, in the Final Four game, when Caitlin Clark took down previously undefeated, reigning national champion South Carolina. Caitlin Clark gave him the "you can't see me." Angel Reese brought it back, and she gave back that same energy. Okay. Maybe Angel Reese overdid it a little bit. Like, she basically followed her around the court and was like, hey, you can't see me, put a ring on it. But, I mean, that is trash talk. Caitlin was doing just as much trash talk. And Caitlin went on to say it today on ESPN, where she said, I don't think there was anything wrong with what Angel did. And it ended up becoming a race thing. And because of all the white people who – I mean, like the Dave Portnoys of the world. That's how I'll frame it. The Dave Portnoys of the world, the Keith Olbermanns of the world said, oh, this is terrible. Look at this bullshit. Oh, look at this crap. Oh, this person. But they didn't say that about Caitlin Clark. Why are you doing it now with a black athlete? I just want people to keep that same energy. And my initial reaction when I saw what Angel Reese did is I absolutely loved it. My reaction, you could ask my two friends who I was with in LA this weekend. My reaction literally was, oh, she just hit her with the "you can't see her." Oh, I can't believe she got her back. It was great.
Especially with your friends who are WWE fans, probably.
Yeah, it was awesome. And so, Gary, I want to get your thoughts on this. What did you think of this quote unquote controversy at the end of the women's national championship?
Yeah, I don't think I even told you. I was in LA and SoCal too, Shaun, this week and have a little fun. But so I did catch a little glimpses of these games, both of these games. But I was just gonna, to be honest with you, it's just goofy to me because if LeBron can get Patrick Beverley doing little man to him, I think anyone can get talk shit to anyone in this world. Then, like literally, if LeBron can get back in the day, what's his name, blown in his ear, Lance Stevenson. If Michael, Pepper got shit talked by before, you know what I'm saying? If so many of these players that are in the NBA level, who are the highest caliber superstars, can get shit talked to by, any type of other players, especially if it's like this situation was kind of like great player to great player type of thing. Obviously, one player is great, like one of the best players in the National League, and the one's, really good on her team. But just like, take it where you eat. Like, take it how you get it, man. If literally you did this last game, if you're a shit talker, you better get ready to answer. It's going to come back to you. That's what I'm saying. If you ever go to the gym or anything, you start shit talking, you better get ready for first thing. You better back it up. Second thing, you better get ready. If you ain't backing it up, they come right back at you. You know what I'm saying? That's the game you play when you play in that zone. That's where some players, some kind of don't talk no shit, and they let their game talk, and that's how they handle that. You know what I'm saying? Everyone has a little march to their own, beat to their own drum, however that saying goes. But I would just say I had no problem with it, and I know that race thing, which is kind of like, you guys know me, I don't really keep up with all the stuff that goes on Twitter and how crazy people make it seem. I kind of see the next day on TV. If it's big enough, it usually comes on TV. You know what I'm saying? So obviously Skip and Shane, all these guys, I made when Network's talking about this, and it's just like, it's obviously it shouldn't be a race thing, because it's like, why are we now making this a race thing? Well, obviously, like, it's so obvious it is though. Like when people, like you said, like Shaun, you mentioned those people who are saying that, oh, like this person shouldn't have done this and that. It's like, why are you guys even saying that? Like, let people talk shit if they want to talk shit. What's wrong with that? Now, if they maybe did too much extra, got violent or anything like that, I don't know. But in pretty much any situation I can see, if you're not, maybe Steph Curry, he never threw his guard at somebody. He always threw it like on the side. You know what I'm saying? If you ever give any frustration burst, I don't know. Like, I just feel like it's all good. It's all part of the game. Just like you said, Clark came on to the ESPN today and said it was all fine. And, LeBron James posted, I think, the other day something about it too. And it was so funny. They were playing boots. It's just so two cultures. And it's just like so cool to see two cultures just be so different, but both be good at basketball. So, I mean, any which way can win. You know what I'm saying? And I think you should embrace both cultures any which way. So it's just kind of weird to even got to that point. And especially like the first lady, I think today said something, I've seen glance that she wants the losing team to come by too and say hi. It's like, all right, now you're actually making it worse. Now you're actually making this worse.
You're making it worse. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
This is really making. Go ahead.
Sorry about that, Gary. I was just going to say, in regard to First Lady Jill Biden, she said, oh, both teams should come to the White House. And Caitlin Clark, she said, I don't think losing teams usually go to the White House. So we're going to let LSU get that honor on their own because they deserve it. Yeah, Caitlin Clark said that.
Okay.
Yeah, Caitlin Clark said that in that same interview today. And then Iowa's coach went on Twitter today and she said, While I gracefully thank the First Lady for the invite, we are going to decline the offer to go to the White House. It should only be for the winners, and the winners are the South Carolina Gamecocks.
Reese says she wants to go to Obama's house.
Exactly. Yeah, Angel Reese and a lot of the LSU players said that they want to go see Michelle Obama and they want to go see Barack Obama because that's their president. Because, I mean, at least right now, it's a bad look for the Bidens on many fronts, but Dr. Jill Biden, that was another bad look for her. And so I just want to get to the game itself now a little bit, moving past the controversy that was. As you mentioned, Jaevon, go ahead, Jaevon.
Well, I was going to say in the first half, we saw that Jasmine Carson was kind of like the show. She literally, I think she made every shot in the first half. Caitlin Clark, I think she got in foul trouble in the second half. She had 3 fouls going into halftime. And so it just looked like she had 16 points, which was pretty decent, I guess. I don't know by Caitlin Clark standards if that's not good enough for her. But just the way that they were playing her, they were pretty much doubling, tripling her, basically making somebody else on the other team beat them. So that kind of she had 2 of her 3 fouls were offensive fouls. So she was playing a little bit frustrated. So that kind of, I think, played a little bit into just how the game was going, the flow of the game. So that was kind of like how the first half was, and then LSU kind of just adjusted in the first half and just kept their foot on their neck. And I mean, Caitlin Clark got hers, but I mean, the rest of the team, it was kind of just, I think one of their one of the bigs found out. I forget what her name was.
Monica Cesano.
Yeah, she was like the only other person I felt like that could really like, all right, you give it to her down low, she's going to be able to score. And then she ended up fouling out, I think in the third quarter. And that was like, it's looking rough right now. And I think Caitlin had 4 fouls at that time when she did foul out. So that was kind of just like, all right, here we go. We're down 15 points, and my other person that could score just fouled out, and I have 4 fouls. Let's try to figure this one out. So, yeah.
Yeah, and for Iowa, it was tough for them. Not only did Monica Cesano foul out, but their other starting forward in McKenna Warnock, she also fouled out. And as you mentioned, Jaevon, their star player in Caitlin Clark, she had 4 fouls. So she was really towing that line throughout the game and trying to play the foul game. to answer your question from earlier, Jaevon, in regard to LSU head coach Kim Mulkey, she's a basketball Hall of Famer for a reason. She had an amazing playing career at Louisiana Tech University way back when in like the 80s, and she won a national championship as a player. Then she went on to Baylor, and she won a national championship as a head coach at Baylor with Brittany Griner. Then she goes on now to LSU, and in her second season, she wins the national. She's from Louisiana.
Stop.
Yeah, and so she comes back home, and she takes a LSU program that is kind of mid, and she turns them into a national champion. And that's the Kim Mulkey effect. That's the positives that Kim Mulkey brings. The negatives that she brings, I mean, she's a basketball Hall of Famer for a reason before she even won this national championship at another school. But the problem that people tend to have with Kim Mulkey is her antics. Like, she does too much. And the best way that I would classify it in the most brief way I could explain it without going into a whole tangent about Kim Mulkey is that she's kind of like that Matt Barnes, Patrick Beverly type player, type coach, where you love to have them on your team. And if they're on the other team, you cannot stand them and you just hate them. You can't stand them. She was that type of player. She is that type of coach. So just like the New York Yankees and the Cowboys are hated on by America predominantly, that's kind of Kim Mulkey. If she's not your coach, then you're most likely not going to like her. Getting to the game itself, just to touch up on a couple things that Jaevon didn't already cover, is that not only did Angel Reese, I mean, she had herself a game as she had double-double with 15 points and 10 rebounds with 5 assists. But as you mentioned, Jaevon, Jasmine Carson, she had an amazing game in that first half. Yeah, exactly.
Ice Spice.
But I also want to show some recognition as well to Alexis Morris, because when I finally got a chance to tune into this game, Alexis Morris took the torch from Jasmine Carson and she just ran with it in that second half. It felt like just like you saw with Jasmine Carson in the first half where she couldn't miss, it felt like to me like Alexis Morris couldn't miss. And Jasmine Carson, she really took the narrative that was coming into this game, because the thing about the Final Four with South Carolina losing their first game of the season and failing to repeat is that Iowa basically played them like they were going up against a bunch of Ben Simmons, where they said, hey, you want to shoot the three? Go for it. All you. Because the three ball isn't as predominant in the women's game. They still have a lot of post play in the women's game. And that's led by a player in Aaliyah Boston, who's one of the best players in the nation. And now she's going on to the WNBA. And so Iowa beat South Carolina, the reigning national champs. You know, she is nasty. But Iowa, they beat South Carolina by saying, beat us with the three ball. South Carolina was unable to do that. LSU took on the challenge, and they more than topped it. And with Jasmine Carson and Alexis Morris, those were the two who really stood out to me. Obviously, you know, Flau'jae Johnson and Angel Reese are going to make their contributions. Also, shout out to Flau'jae. Not only did she's already accomplished half of her goals. She said coming into college, she wanted to win a Grammy and she wanted to win a national championship. She's just finished her freshman year as a starter on this LSU team, and she's already accomplished one of those. Jaevon, do you think that Flau'jae ends up getting a Grammy before she graduates from college?
Probably not. It's very hard to win one of those.
Oh no!
No!
Jaevon said the oh no, and that was the premonition that he was about to fall out. So unfortunately,
I
Jaevon
can't tell if I'm lagging, you guys are lagging.
I don't know.
Who knows, guys?
There he is. Hey, Jaevon, can you hear us? Can you see us?
I can hear you now.
All right, cool. So the one thing I want to ask is, have you ever heard any of Flau'jae's raps or any of her flows?
Oh,
like she's really good.
No, I have not heard any.
So you should honestly check her out. You might change your opinion on her potentially winning a Grammy.
Should be rapping or singing, Shaun?
She raps. She raps. She does a little bit of both, but she's predominantly a rapper. And she became a rapper. I encourage anyone to check out the Outside the Lines piece from ESPN on Flau'jae Johnson, because it really tells the story of her background and why she is the way she is today. And a lot of it has to do with her late father, who passed away before she was even born. He was a rapper named Camouflage, and that's where he got her name and named her Flau'jae, because and so it was kind of cool, and so he ended up passing away to gun violence before she was born. But she kind of found out when she was young that he was a rapper, and she just fell into it, was able to relate to her dad a lot more when she started rapping. And now we see her as a dual basketball player and rapper. To answer my own question, I think that Flau'jae does win a Grammy before she graduates. Yeah, it's awesome. And I highly encourage anyone who's interested to check out more about her story, because you're going to become a fan of her just like I am. Just a couple things I wanted to wrap up real quickly about this Women's March Madness tournament. I want to give flowers to Angel Reese, because in 2020, she committed to play at Maryland as the number 2 player in the nation. She stayed close to home. She's from the DMV. And so she played at Maryland, and her freshman year was cut short after she suffered a foot fracture in only her 4th game. She had 2 up and down years at Maryland, and she decided it was time for a fresh start, as I'm reading this all from the ESPNW account. After she visited with South Carolina and Tennessee, she committed to LSU. A year later, she's a national champion. She won the most outstanding player of the tournament and led LSU to its first title in program history. Oh, and she got the whole wide world talking about her. So I think she is doing all right, as Jaevon points to her, the ring finger.
She said, Uncle Shaq don't play about me.
Oh, no, yeah. Shaq went after, I think it was Keith Olbermann or Dave Portnoy. And something else, too, is you'll have to check it out. We're running out of time. But anyways, I will just say that something else in regard to the ring pointing celebration is that Angel had one of her teammates. I don't know if she did it or if one of her teammates just grabbed her hand. Yeah, when they clinched the Final Four appearance, they took a marker and drew a ring on her finger. I mean, that was for a Final Four championship, and now they have a national championship. So that is awesome. And I just want to get to one more thing about this women's tournament, as Jaevon alluded to earlier, with the record-breaking numbers. This is from ESPN PR. 9.9 million viewers for a record-breaking national championship thriller between LSU and Iowa made TV history, as it was the most viewed women's basketball championship game on record, up 103% year over year. The game peaked at 12.6 million viewers, and it was the most viewed college event ever on ESPN+. I mean, if you give the women a shot, they will get the ratings. They will get the ratings. Yes, sir, Gary. Amen. All right, guys. Now let's keep it moving here on episode number 23 of Stats Over Politics. But real quickly, before we do move on, I mean, Gary, at least one thing knows, because brother Jesse says she got bars, and she was on America's Got Talent talking about Flau'jae Johnson.
He's on that with my mom. He's on that with my mom.
Nice. There you go. And just getting back to an earlier comment from Uncle Manny, he said, I understand smack talk, but Angel Reese could have handled it with dignity and class. Congrats to them either way. Caitlin Clark did say it was fine. And I understand Uncle Manny there, because even though I was completely fine with it and I enjoyed the trash talk from Angel Reese, I do understand the argument that she took it a little too far, because she followed her all around the court.
Stop being soft. You being soft.
Oh,
you being soft.
I wasn't gonna disrespect my elder, but if you want to, there you go.
I ain't disrespecting my elder. I love my guy. I love my uncle to death. I'm gonna tell him he's being smart. If I give him a different situation, if someone was talking to his son, talking shit on the court, he would say, "Bro, you better go talk shit back." Come on now, you know that's okay. I know if my little cousin Hunter was walking around banging 3-pointers like he does, walking around going like this, ice in my veins or anything like that, they'll be clapping it up. Let him know.
Okay, but what about Hayden? Does Hayden rain threes too?
No, Hayden's gonna be on TV probably acting or something like that, to be honest with you. Vaughn, they're twins, but they're totally opposite. But I love them to death. But they're the twins that you would never ever expect. They're both great at different things.
He's gonna be in the WWE.
He could be. He can act.
That's That's awesome. Well, shout out to Hunter, Hayden, and Manny, all of the fam. We appreciate you guys for tuning in. All right, guys. Now let's close out episode number 23 with the men's tournament. As last night we did not have our episode because we wanted to let the game finish and we wanted to get the true result and to be able to talk about the completion of March Madness on both the men's and women's side. And Jaevon, I mean, you don't sound too happy about this, Jaevon. As UConn was crowned the national champions, they defeated San Diego State 76-59. Bobby Hurley, actually not Bobby Hurley, excuse me. What's Hurley's name? Dan Hurley? Yeah, Dan Hurley.
Yeah, Dan Hurley.
Thank you. So Dan Hurley, he wins a national championship at UConn as the head coach. I'll be honest. I mean, I've been honest about this the entire tournament since before the tournament started. All of my energy that I spent watching college basketball was spent on the women's tournament. I could hardly care about this men's tournament besides the Sports Center highlights. So, Jaevon, educate me. What did you think about this entire tournament, but also with UConn finishing as the national champs, winning their 5th overall in school history?
I think just, let's just go from a betting's perspective. If you bet the spread on every game for UConn, they covered and you would have won a lot of money. Because they won every game, I believe, by double digits, just going into the entire game. San Diego State had a lot of breaks kind of going into this entire tournament. There were a couple of games where I think who did they play before FAU? Forget in the Elite Eight.
Didn't they beat FAU in the Final Four with a buzzer beater?
Yeah, they beat FAU by a buzzer beater, like on the last second. The guy on FAU should have he went a little too early. It was like a 6-second differential. He started driving, I think, with like 10 seconds left, and then they ended up getting the rebound, and then that whole theatrical, it all happened, and that's kind of how they got there. San Diego State, I don't think just the way that they're not really a great shooting team. They're like a long-built, stocky, defensive prowess type team that can score. They have a lot of length on the perimeter, so that kind of helps them a lot for their wings. But as far as UConn goes, they're just like all-around complete team. They can get it down low in the post. They got guards that can slash, they can shoot the ball well, and they can rebound. With college basketball, rebounding is like so essential because no one can rebound in college basketball for some odd reason. If you're able to control the glass with offensive boards, you usually win the game that way. And that's kind of what UConn was doing all tournament. A lot of people were kind of, it's kind of side-eyeing them just because they were so up and down during the regular season. There were so many different times when UConn was ranked number 1, and I was like, oh, that's probably the best team in the country. And then they go out and they lose to some slapdick team that they weren't supposed to lose to. So, I mean, that's just with all college basketball teams this entire year. Usually they're just not good on the road. If they play a road game, in an in-division road game, and they're like a top 4 or 5 team, they can still lose to a Maryland or just a team that's just not as coveted as they usually are. So going into the tournament, I had no idea who was going to win, not even the slightest. I had Alabama winning in our Stats Over Politics tournament challenge, and that was cut short. I think they lost to San Diego
State. Yes, sir.
If I'm not mistaken, they won that game pretty handedly. So hats off to both teams. A lot of people don't know that the coach for San Diego State was under Coach Fisher, who they both coached with each other. They coached the Fab Five. So the Fab Five was Jalen Rose, Chris Webber, Juwan Howard, all those guys, that legendary team that they had. So that's how long that coaching tree ties together to. So hats off to San Diego State for getting there. I think this is they've never been to a championship. I don't even think they've ever been to a championship. So
no.
Yeah, UConn is. I think UConn needs to get a little bit more love. I think as far as blue blood wise, as far as blue bloods go, we think Duke, Carolina, Kansas,
should be.
Kentucky. You'd probably have to consider definitely that UConn is a blue blood because they've won what was it 5 championships? I think in the last
25 years.
25 years. Yeah. So
Gary with the stats.
Yeah, it's stats over politics, man. What you expect? So I think just going into it, UConn was definitely had all the tools to win the championship, but I don't know a lot of people outside of people in on the UConn campus that had them winning it all. But I think it's the first time in history that there hasn't been a top, like a number one seed in the Final Four. It was like 4, 5, 9. Yeah, it was a lot of parity this year. So this whole college basketball season has been all over the place. And, excited for next year and kind of to see, all the new talent coming in. And a lot of people are kind of, still waiting to see is where's Bronny James going to be going. So that's a whole nother conversation in itself. And I think if the odds came out now, the team that would probably win for next year, my next year's prediction would probably be Kentucky, just because they have the best recruiting. Yeah, Kentucky has.
You speaking up for Kevin now, Gary?
Kevin.
I was kind of like Duke as a kid. I'm not gonna lie.
Or Kentucky has
me as a casual.
4 of the top 100 players. They have 4 of the top.
They got Caleb Foster, bro. I watched him in person. That boy can cook.
Yeah, they got DJ. Kentucky has DJ Wagner, who's ranked, I think, number 1 and 2 out of the 3.
Who's his dad, Jaevon?
I hate you so much. Is his dad. So DJ Wagner is the number 1 recruit coming out of high school this year. He's going to Kentucky next year. They have
McDonald's game was cool.
Yeah, they have like 3 in that McDonald's game. They have like 3 or 4 players going to Kentucky. So Kentucky's in good hands now. I think Calipari has kind of stepped away a little bit from the one and done type deal, because he was going through the transfer portal, as a lot of people were. That even from in college football, a lot of people are kind of just trying to go through the transfer portal rather than just flat out recruiting and doing one and dones. But I think Calipari is starting to go back a little bit more to, all right, when we were one and dones, we were going to Final Fours, we were winning championships, we're doing this, that, and the third. So I think now we're going to start to see a little bit more of Coach Cal getting to his recruiting bag and getting all the top players to come to Kentucky.
So, Gary, what did you think about UConn winning it all? I mean, a lot of talk throughout this entire tournament about I'm sorry, I'm just going to give a background here, is that there was a lot of talk with this tournament about all of the upsets and how we saw 2 number 1 seeds get taken out before the Sweet 16.
Thank you, Arkansas.
Yeah, right. Exactly. And then so much talk about the fact that going into the Final Four, it was the first time that we had never had a top 3 seed in that Final Four. But yet, to me, it seems like the best team won, and it wasn't a shock to me to see UConn win, because just to me, as someone, I will admittedly say that I am probably one of the biggest men's basketball casuals from this season. But to me, just from the outsider's perspective of it, it seems like the best team won with a name brand program like UConn winning. And like we talked about last week, UConn may not be considered a blue blood school alongside schools like Duke and North Carolina and Kansas, but they have a blue blood resume. So to you, Gary, what did you think about a team like UConn winning it all after there was so much parity throughout this tournament?
Yeah, well, just to end your point real quick right there is the UConn, I think, is easily a blue blood. I mean, since I've been watching college basketball as a casual and for college basketball and college basketball in general, that I just feel like they've always been winning since all time. So I don't know how, if you're winning all the time, I think the best thing you could say right there, Shaun, they got a blue blood resume. So I think that qualifies them right there. Shout out to San Diego. I was there this weekend. It was amazing city. Love San Diego. My brother sitting right here, Jesse, he's a former graduate SDSU. So I was pulling for SDSU, and I know he was turned up, and I know he was showing me Snapchats of the whole city going crazy. So that's cool that they were having fun. And to be honest with you, it was my Uncle Pod, huh?
Your uncle didn't say anything. Did you see how Jaevon froze? Jaevon, can you hear us? Can you see us?
I can
hear. Okay.
All right, Jaevon, I just got the most legendary screenshot of you in the way that you froze. I don't know if I'll post it anywhere, but I'll send it directly to you so you can see it. It was hilarious. But I'm sorry, Gary.
Go.
I know. I'm just an asshole.
Anyway, was it 5? One I had to do on purpose on mine, so I got one, but I had to do on purpose to try to refresh to get more.
I'm always
clean
going
connected.
to win every week. It doesn't matter.
Hey, I think Jaevon is about to hit the under this week, to be honest, though, because we raised the over under to 10, and right now he's
Jesus.
Hold on, knock on wood.
We still got 20 minutes left.
Yeah, exactly. Knock on wood. We still got about less than 20 minutes left, so we shall see. But anyways, I'm sorry, Gary. Please finish your thought as we cut you off halfway.
Yeah, I just shout to San Diego State even getting there, getting this far. I know obviously a lot of people did not have them this far. It shows a testament of that program. Like Vaughn mentioned, the coach right there having ties to the Fab Five, and just they've always been. They recruit a lot of people from Sacramento as well, so I feel like they've always had a solid job in recruiting. Always having some bring young talent there. So kudos to them that they finally got maybe a more national spotlight on them. UConn just doing their thing. If you watch this game, it's pretty much a kind of a mismatch. Sorry to say, like they just had too many weapons. UConn does with athleticism, length, 3-point shoot, just so many different variables. Which at some point, especially at this college level, that some of these teams that I got blessed to watch a few games here at Golden One in Sacramento in the early rounds, the first round 1 and 2. And just mismatches like that in terms of styles of play, or does if one team just way better at shooting, if one team just not get to the paint better, it really becomes a matchup problem nowadays in these matchups, especially in the college level that I'm noticing. So it's not as thin of margins, I would say, as the NBA or like obviously professional basketball. Like we talked about like a month and a half ago, whatever, early January, the college football championship, where Georgia smashes TCU, you know what I'm saying? Sometimes these teams that go to the championship, it's a more bigger gap than you expect. And I think that you just got to shout out to those teams, right? They're just building great programs. And I don't know what to say because I ain't gonna lie, it's kind of bad to watch. Like they couldn't get over the hump, but I don't see at any point they were actually going to have a chance versus team. They're just a well-oiled machine. So it's actually crazy because the women's side we talked about scored 100, and San Diego State probably needs about 4 more quarters. Sorry, Jesse, to score 100, bro. So they had a great defense, but man, you got to be able to score, and no matter what type of basketball or any type of sport you play, it's going to come down to scoring too. I know defense always say wins championships, but I don't know, guys. The years keep on turning, and that saying keeps getting older and older. I hope he gets old this year for our Kings anyway, side note. But it was a great game, great tournament, and I like watching all the upsets, especially that last game too when San Diego State on the Final Four hit the game-winning buzzer, which was crazy and cool to see. So overall, it was a cool March Madness experience this year, even though I had a good 2-3 run until my bracket fell apart. But, yeah.
So I just want to, in regard to our men's March Madness tournament challenge, I just want to give a shout out to Emiliano Lara, who is my friend. He won the tournament because he picked UConn. Congratulations to him. I have since texted Emiliano during the course of this podcast. I said, congratulations, you won our bracket challenge. Do you want to come on? He said he'd love to. So Emiliano will be joining us sometime in the coming weeks as the winner of our bracket challenge. For UConn, Adama Sanogo with a double-double in this game, 17 points and 10 rebounds, joined by Tristan Newton, who had 19 points and 10 rebounds. And I just want to give a shout-out to the San Diego State Aztecs, as Gary was saying. His brother, Jesse, is an alum of San Diego State, and I am very proud of San Diego State as a California State University graduate myself, because this was the first time, I don't know, Gary or Jaevon, if either of you had seen this stat, but this was the first time that a California State school ever made it to the Final Four of the men's March Madness tournament. That is something that should not be scoffed at. That is something that is an amazing feat. And I appreciate San Diego State. Even though they didn't get the job done, they went up against a powerhouse of a program. Maybe. And damn right, Gary, they represented the West Side as they did something for California State University schools. So who knows? Maybe Sacramento State is next. Man, if we can keep David Patrick around long enough in the men's tournament and like he doesn't win a Big Sky championship and then leave to another school like he probably will, maybe the Sac State would have a chance to if the tournament went like it did this year and there's just so much parity. But I don't know. All I know is March Madness is officially over. Jaevon officially just hit his 6th freeze, but he didn't fall out. Oh, yeah, he just did. Just
one more shout out to the girls team, Sacramento State team. Again, they made it to the first round, even though they got spanked by UCLA. No problem. It's all good. At
least we made it. It was 22 points. That wasn't spanked.
All right. Just shout out to the old squad getting up there. A lot of players actually we covered. A couple players here and there we covered on that team. So I'm glad. Congratulations to them from staying in the gutter over there and helping to see rise all the way to the top. So stingers up for that one for the girls team. Putting on.
Well, Gary, I'm glad that you mentioned that because you weren't here last week when we talked about Mark Campbell leaving to TCU, leaving the Sac State women's basketball program for TCU. And so, yeah, I'm super thankful to them. And, you know, the crazy thing is, Gary, is that team this year that won the Big Sky Championship was they only had one player from the Bunkie Harkle Road era, the previous coach, on that team, and that was senior Jordan Oliveris, who I got to cover when she was a freshman. And to see her make it to March Madness as a senior, the one remaining player from that dysfunctional era of Sac State women's basketball, it was so cool for me to see that. And they really put her in the spotlight, which was really awesome as well. As we begin to wrap things up here on episode number 23 of Stats Over Politics, just a friendly reminder to make sure to give us a like on YouTube. It helps us out a lot. If you like the show, hit subscribe to get notifications when we go live. Follow us on Instagram and TikTok at Stats Over Politics and on Twitter at Stats or Politics. Make sure to subscribe, rate, and review on all audio podcast platforms. If you're enjoying the show, give us 5 stars. We'd appreciate it. And I'm Shaun Holko alongside Jaevon Toddy and Gary Singh. Gary, did you have the message to the people about promotion for our podcast?
Tell your mama, your granny, your daddy. Tell your sister, your brother, your stepbrother. I don't know who else you want to tell. Go to the neighborhood market, go up to Costco, the gas station, wherever you want to go up the street. Go tell them all. We might go head downtown or something. Hand out something.
Guys, any final thoughts before we get out of here on anything?
Go Niners.
Okay, that was a bit of Gary, that wasn't nonsense. That was a bit of an insider at the end of every episode of Shaun and Vaughn. Jaevon, anytime I'd ask him, do you got any final thoughts? It would, even if it was the offseason, always a Niners related subject. So I appreciate that sentiment, Jaevon. Go Niners. Fuck the Steelers. Fuck the Eagles.
Go Kings.
We're getting out of here.
Whoa.
Gary and Kevin are catching strays on the way out. Jaevon, they aren't just the best in the NFC. They're the best in the NFL. They're going to be the 2024 Super Bowl champions, San Francisco 49ers.
Oh, yeah.
We're getting out of here.
Y'all might get Rodgers.
Yeah, no, that ain't happening, cuz. All right, we'll catch y'all later. Episode 23. Later, y'all.